Welcome to the Rick Helps Real Estate Show, my weekly edition. Going to talk a little bit about Zillow, probably a lot about Zillow today because they're being sued again. We'll touch on some of the local Phoenix numbers in a moment, but I kind of wanted to explain Zillow to the average consumer because I personally think that this lawsuit is it's just formed out of misunderstanding and misconceptions, and I just think there's really nothing to it. But I'm going to show it to you here, and what's happening is Zillow's, it says through, this is the accusation, through Zillow's call to action buttons. And where are they? They're right here. Request a tour and contact an agent. Homeowners are unknowingly routed to a Zillow agent. I disagree with that, and I'm going to explain that to you in a moment. Rather than the agent hired by the seller to list the property for sale. Recent reports claim Zillow engages in deceptive practices by directing potential homeowners to Zillow agents away from the property's listing agent. Zillow agents purchase home buyer leads from Zillow.com through a paid referral program and seek to earn business of prospective buyers. The result is allegedly a higher overall cost to home buyer. So I'm going to show you a couple things here before I move on forward. Let's go to a listing. And I just randomly pulled one up in a cute little town that I drove through in Idaho a couple weeks ago. I thought it was great, Caldwell, Idaho. So here's a listing right here. And here, right in the right-hand side here, it says request a tour, contact agent. It's very visible. Well, guess what else is very visible? All of the other information on this home, landscaping, the description, and then lo and behold, right here, listed by, it's got the agent, it's got the phone number, and it's got the brokerage right there. It's right in front of the consumer. It's not being hidden. Zillow isn't redirecting you over here. They just have a button that says contact the agent. Now, that's going to be a buyer's agent versus contacting the listing agent directly. There's pros and cons both ways. I'm not going to try to convince you one way is better, but this isn't misconception or redirection. Now, do they get some kind of a fee for that agent? Well, says here, according to the lawsuit, Zillow tricks prospective home buyers into signing up with Zillow agent through its website. And if they go through, sales goes through, a Zillow Flex agent is involved. The agent must pay Zillow up to 40% of the agent commission. This cuts the commission paid to Zillow for no services rendered related to the real estate sale. It's never disclosed. All right, let's do a deep dive in here and talk about that commission for just a second. First of all, going back here to this listing, LaDuina Lancaster, Powerhouse Real Estate Group, who listed this house, along with the seller, have nothing to do with Zillow. When a listing's put on the MLS, you click a button to share it on List Hub, and it shares it everywhere. After all, when you list your home, don't you want as many people to see it as possible? You want it everywhere. And I know people get really upset if it doesn't show up on Zillow within a half an hour of being listed. I've had those phone calls. Rick, it's not up there yet. What's going on? I just click one button. It's up to all the aggregate software to get going and pull it. And when you update the pictures, it may not update it till next day. Sometimes it doesn't go in and update the pictures. So you want to get everything right the first time. But my main point in this discussion is, look, these people, the sellers and the listing agent, they have nothing to do with Zillow. They didn't go to Zillow and go, let's work together with my listing. They list it, they click it, put it on List Hub, it gets spread out there. Voila. The seller and the broker have agreed to a listing commission that they are offering. They're going to pay the listing agent a percentage, and they're saying, and I'm willing to pay a certain percentage for a buyer's agent to bring me a buyer. It's been that way forever. That price is negotiable when you're willing to pay it. So now the buyer's agent comes in and gets with the listing agent and says, is there compensation being offered? Now the seller's agent may say, well, send us an offer and tell us what you're looking for, and we'll see what we can do for you. So you write an offer and you say, I'm requesting 2.5%. Let's say that's what you agree on. Well, then that's what the seller says. Nothing to do with Zillow. Here's the rub. They reference the Flex agent, right? What is a Flex agent? Well, if I want to be a Zillow Flex agent, it's a program. It's a lead generation program. I sign up, I pay a monthly fee to be a Flex agent for a certain zip code that I want to be known at so that I can be listed there. And they can have several agents listed, and it just kind of rotates. So as a flex agent, if Zillow sends me that lead because they went to the Zillow website, I pay them a referral fee. It's usually about 30%. It could be as high as 40%. So I get the commission that's offered from the seller, from the seller's broker. That broker sends it out, and then I split it up with whoever I want. Now, if you go buy a car and the salesman comes up to you, how much does that salesman make on the sale of that car? I guarantee you, you don't know. You also don't know what kind of splits or referrals that they pay. That's just the way commissions work. With a real estate agent, if I get paid a commission and you're the seller, do you care what I do with it? What if I send some to my brother for moral support? Thanks for fielding my phone calls. Here's 10% of my commission. I pay it to Zillow. Thank you for sending me that buyer. They were a pleasure to work with. It's an agreement. It's an advertising agreement. So is this a big whopping surprise to anybody? Now put on your lawyer eyes here for a moment, because look at this. Referrals and lead sales as part of the services. You may be connected with a real estate professional you authorized to make such a referral or lead sale, and acknowledge that we may be paid valuable consideration for facilitating such a connection. It's right there. Sure, it's buried deep into the terms of service. But if you're a lawyer, you're digging for this and going, you put it right out there. It's out there. It says, as part of the services, you may be connected to a party that provides mortgage loan origination services, title and escrow services. You may be referred to them, connected to them. It's not required. Now, there's some other stuff going on with the Flex program that agents are getting a little gritty with Zillow and saying, you know, you're requiring me to send these buyers to your mortgage company, and if I don't refer enough buyers, you're not going to send me enough leads. That's a whole nother can of worms. But for this argument, I mean, they've disclosed it. You may be working with another agent. For the lawsuit to say that you have been kind of misaligned or misdirected and sent to a agent that you thought was a listing agent, you're just not paying attention. The listing agent's clearly listed there. Again, I'll show it. They're right here on every listing. They're right there. Every one of these says contact agent. You don't know who you're going to get. But remember, you're just on their website. You don't have to click that at all. You can go with your local buyer's agent and say, hey, I am really interested in this house in Idaho on Washington Avenue. Can you help me? You don't have to go through Zillow. You're just looking and getting information and going through Zillow. Zillow is just the most visited website in the real estate sphere. More visitors than any other website out there. Everybody goes to Zillow. Why? Well, because it's a national portal. Look at me. I'm sitting in Arizona. I'm glancing at a house in Idaho. I'm not moving to Idaho, but I was just curious what the house prices were going through there. I thought it was a quaint little town. A few years ago, you couldn't do that. If I was moving to another state, I had no access to what was for sale in California when I lived in Washington State. Yeah, I went down to look at a house. I went to the grocery store and I pulled out that magazine and started flipping through it. They don't have those anymore. I mean, maybe they do. I don't pay attention to it. But that's what makes Zillow popular. You got everything. You can look at everything. It's just called massive syndication. And so you can get your own agent. Why in the world are you suing Zillow because you are the one that clicked that button, contact an agent? It didn't say what agent you're going to get. That agent called you and said, hey, Zillow referred me to you. How can I help you? Even at that point, you can say, are you the listing agent? No. Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to do business with you then. Great. Okay, let me refer you to who the listing agent is. You can see it's right there on the page. So stop being idiots. I know that's harsh, but some of the lawsuits drive me absolutely nuts. And that's kind of the Zillow story. So we'll watch and see what's going to happen. It's just a big class action lawsuit, and it just makes me shake my head. Here is our sales to list price ratio that we have going on right now. Houses have a 97.2% list to sale price. Here's a graph that shows it right here. It says that the average list price is $333 a square foot. The average sales price is $324. So the difference is about $9 a square foot. If you look at the 12-month moving average, you can see that there's a disconnect between the two. Actually, this is fairly healthy. This was during the silly season when there was a lot of overbidding. Notice how the blue line was well above the green line here, going up. Kind of hard to see because the chart's a little tiny, but people were bidding more than what the house they were asking for. Then it all changed in 22 and 23. And this gap that you see here is actually a very healthy gap. It is not a sign that the market's in trouble. It's not a sign that sellers are greedy. It's just the house is listed. The two of you got together and negotiated a price. You pulled the price down. There you go. So I think it's a sign of a healthy market, even though it's slow. We look here now at our active listings, and we are seeing listings increase, but I want to point out again that it is seasonal, coming out of summer, coming out of summer, coming out of summer. And that happens every year as we come out of summer. We get more and more homes that are listed. How high this is going to go really depends on a lot of different things. And all we can do is track the numbers and see what's going on. So tune in with me once or twice a week, and I'll keep you up to speed on what is going on. And here's some other news here. They are changing the name of the ballpark to Mortgage Matchup Center. How many names has this basketball stadium here, arena, had since I've been here in 96? Suns Arena. I think it was named after a casino for a while. I can't keep up with these name changes, but here you see it right here, Mortgage Matchup Center. There you go. So now you are up to speed with what's going on in real estate and professional basketball. I hope that's clear as mud now. I hope you enjoyed some of the updates on Zillow. If you have any questions, shoot me an email at rick@rickhelps.com. And hey, don't forget to click that QR code and ask for your own personal zip code market report. Take care. Have a great week.